Good afternoon, folks. Nice to see you. As you can see by the title of this video, I am going to share with you today because I've actually did it in my own little group on Facebook, but I actually have never did it on TikTok, and I'm going to try to keep it as brief as I can because I know people's attention span are not very good. But part of my work as being a psychic medium, folks, is that I deal with a lot of people's emotions and I deal with a lot of people's problems and issues, people to come to me and whatever. Today I want to share with you something that I have gone through and continually going through, and that's living with dementia in your family and in my family. People who are aware of me know this story. I'm going to keep it as brief as I can. And the reason why I'm doing this is hopefully so it'll help someone else out there. Unfortunately, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, folks, my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And what actually basically happened was that my mum was caring for him on her own. Now, obviously, we helped as much as we could, and we were there as much as we could give her as much support as needed. But unfortunately, 5 years ago, on Christmas Day, my mum suffered a very serious accident and unfortunately fell down the stairs. And as a result of this, she suffered a massive brain injury. And it wasn't a very nice thing to happen. It's not a very nice thing to happen to anybody. It's not a very nice thing to happen to any family. And especially being at Christmas time, I think made it worse. Now people say to me, what happened, what would happen in that situation. And basically what happened was that my dad was taken to hospital that day too, because he wasn't well either. So basically, I was at one hospital and my brother was at the other hospital. And I was trying to be with dad and my brother was with mum. And it's not nice, folks, seeing your mum lying there at the bottom of the stairs. It's not nice. And it's something I'll never forget. It's something I will never, ever forget in my life. So basically, what happened was then my mum was taken to hospital, my dad was taken to hospital, but I got a phone call to go down to the hospital to be with my brother because we had some decisions to make about mum's care. Mum had to have a blood clot removed as well. And, on hindsight, folks, looking back now to I see where my mum is today, and this might be a horrible thing that I'm going to say, we had a choice that day um, to let that blood clot stay there, and obviously mum would have passed away. And, we made the decision to give her a chance to see how she would be. But if I had a knew, and sounds awful what I'm going to say, and I hope you all take this with respect, if I had a knew the way my mum was today, I would have let the clot stay there, to be honest with you, and let her go. Because her quality of life now is very, very poor. Very, very poor. Um, the care home system, folks, is an absolute joke. So it is. It's a real joke. And the financial side of things, which I'm not going to go into today, really needs to be reviewed and looked at. It's just an absolute joke. So basically, both my parents today, folks, are in care homes. My dad is today, as I record this, has moved to a new one because he is moved from residential care to nursing care now. And basically the home that he's in can't facilitate him at the moment, which we were told they could at the time, but they can't now. So he had to move home, and my mum is she's in a specialist brain injury unit in Belfast. So for me, folks, dementia has had a very, very big part. It has been a very big part of my life, and brain injury as well. To go down there and see people who you love, people who you care for, people who brought you up. Um, my mum and dad are not my mum and dad anymore. They don't know me. Basically, dad does a wee bit, my mum doesn't. It's hard, you know. So basically now, as I say, my mum's in Belfast there. My dad, he's in a new care home from today. And 5 years, folks, has been tough. People don't realise, I don't think people have to understand for me that those people there are no longer my mum and dad. Even though my mum and dad, folks, have not passed away, I grieve for them every day. Because those people down there are not my mum and dad, they're just shells. They're just shells and a few memories of what the people they used to be, you know. And we have to remember who they were. We have to remember what they did in their life and who they were to keep their spirit alive, you know. I believe, and this is my personal belief, that my mum and dad's spirit has partially already moved on to the next consciousness, and basically we're just seeing the remnants. It's so horrible to see, and that's why recently I did the charity event on my group, Sure Doesn't Matter, for to raise money for Dementia and Dementia and I are there. They have empowerment meetings and stuff, empowerment groups where people of dementia can come together and share their experiences. It was people with dementia actually started Dementia and I. It was people with dementia who there's different sort of things his house come in and it was their idea. So don't automatically think people with dementia can't do things because they do. They can, because my dad was able to drive even with dementia for a while as well, so they don't lose everything immediately, they don't lose, it's just a very, very cruel disease, folks. It's a very cruel disease that we still know very little about. Yes, there's drugs out there. Yes, there's tablets out there for it. But my personal view is actually when my father started his medication for dementia, I actually think he got worse, to be quite honest with you. So bear in mind for those people, folks. Bear in mind for those people in care homes and at home and the people who are caring for them there. They're still people. They're still there. They might not know you, but they're still my mum and dad. And as I say, mum and dad really don't know me now, and every time I go down, it hurts like hell. It hurts like hell. Them not knowing me, and I have to go and see them. Sometimes in my mind, I say to myself, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't go. I can't go, it hurts too much. But they would do it for me. They would be there for me. Anytime I was in hospital or whatever at a younger age, my mum and dad were always there for me. They're my mum and dad, and they still are, and they always will be. They might be not with us in mind, but they're still with us in spirit. If anybody's ever affected by dementia, folks, please talk to someone about it. Because it's not just the people who have the dementia who are affected. It's the people and the family around are really greatly affected as well. I went for counselling. I've been for counselling. I'm going for a little bit more, and I'm not ashamed to say that. Because my dad always said to us, my dad, I don't know why, my dad always said to us when we were growing up, if you're ever struggling, if you're ever finding life tough, and if you ever find you're struggling the way forward, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And that's been ingrained in me all my life. And I think that's why I do the work that I do alongside my psychic work, with my community group and helping others, because that's what I do. And I feel as if that's why I've been put on this earth to do so, to help people. And by giving this information today, I hope it helps someone else. It's a horrible thing, folks. And it's not, as I say, just the physical aspect, the mental aspect, it's the financial aspect, all the other things that goes along with it. It's just an absolute nightmare for anybody to go through. So don't be afraid to ask for help, folks, and don't be afraid to seek advice. To seek advice as well. And also, if you need some sort of a shoulder to cry on, or some sort of counselling, please go and try to find it. I went myself, and I referred myself for counselling. I went to a place in Lisburn, it's called Emerge Counselling, and they were absolutely amazing. And I'm going back for another wee bit, you know. But as I say, folks, dementia is really, really growing here in Northern Ireland and the UK. You know, it's such a horrible, crippling, it's just like stealing your mind. It's like a mind stealer. You know, it's taking bits of people away every day. Every day, someone's losing another part of their life, another part, another memory, another thought. You know, just remember, they are who they are still. They're still my mum, and that's still my dad. You know, even though, as I say, they're not here in body. You know, they're here in body, but not. They don't know what's going on. You know. Um, Also, as well, folks, you know, when my mum and dad, you know, when mum had her accident and stuff, I automatically went into, oh, I'll care for her mode. I'll care for her. And at that time, I was very ill, you know, with other my own disabilities and stuff. And, you know, I think it's just, it was a thing for me to, I felt as if I needed to do, but I couldn't look after myself at that time. I could hardly look after myself, you know. These are the things I needed to look at. These are the things I needed to go through in my mind, you know, and work with someone, you know. But just remember, folks, dementia is a horrible thing. And please, once again, it just doesn't affect the people who have the dementia. It affects the family around and the loved ones of these people. So don't be afraid to ask for help, folks, or some sort of guidance, because it is there. I hope this has helped someone, and I hope, you know, people are listening. And also maybe spreading a wee bit of awareness about dementia as well. If I went into the story, I'd be here for 10 years. You know what I mean? But, you know, it could go as like an episode of Dynasty, you know, but I need to get the message across. Dementia is a cruel thing, folks. It's a cruel, cruel disease. Just be aware of it and listen. Talk to you all soon. Thank you for listening today. Thank you.